Twins show up at a restaurant for a job interview, asking for a plate of food as their salary. What he did changed their lives forever. Before we dive into this incredible story, drop a comment below and tell us where you're watching from. Get ready for a journey that will touch your heart. Enjoy. Asterisk, the lunch rush at Blackwood's restaurant was in full swing when two small figures pushed through the heavy glass doors. Madison and Morgan Carter. 8-year-old twins with matching braided hair and determined expressions stood hand in hand in the elegant foyer. Their simple but clean clothes, a stark contrast to the wealthy clientele surrounding them. Asterisk, excuse. Me, Madison said to the hostess, her voice clear and polite. We need to speak with Mr. Nathan Blackwood, please. Asterisk, the hostess, Maria, looked down at the children with confusion. I'm sorry, sweethearts, are you lost? Where are your parents? Asterisk, we're not lost, Morgan replied firmly, clutching a small notebook to her chest. We have a business proposition. For Mr. Blackwood. Asterisk, Nathan Blackwood emerged from the kitchen at that moment, his tall frame commanding attention as he surveyed his domain. At 45, the millionaire restaurateur was known throughout Chicago for his perfectionism and cold business demeanor. His steel-gray eyes missed nothing as they fell upon the unusual scene at the entrance. Asterisk, Maria? What seems to be the issue? Nathan asked, his voice carrying the authority of someone accustomed to immediate solutions. Asterisk, these little girls are asking to see you, sir? They say they have a business proposition? Asterisk, Nathan raised an eyebrow, intrigued despite himself. In 20 years of running restaurants, he'd never encountered anything quite like this. Very well, young ladies, you have 2 minutes of my time. Asterisk, Madison stepped forward, her small shoulders squared with courage. Mr. Blackwood, my sister and I would like to work at your restaurant. Asterisk, Nathan's expression shifted from mild amusement to surprise. Work? Your children? Asterisk, we can sweep floors, wipe tables, and help in any way you need, Morgan added quickly. We don't want money for payment. Asterisk, then. What exactly do you want? Nathan asked, finding himself genuinely curious. Asterisk, the twins exchanged a look before Madison answered, her voice barely above a whisper. Just 1 plate of food each day? That's all we're asking for. Asterisk, the simple request hit Nathan like a physical blow. In his world of profit margins and business deals, he'd never encountered such desperate dignity. Something in their earnest faces reminded him of his own childhood struggles, long buried beneath years of success. Asterisk, 1 plate of food? He repeated slowly. Why? Asterisk, Morgan's lower lip trembled slightly, but her voice remained steady. Because we're hungry, sir. And our mama taught us that honest work is better than begging. Asterisk, the restaurant continued buzzing around them, but Nathan felt as if time had stopped. These children, barely reaching his waist, had just shattered every assumption he held about desperation and dignity. Asterisk, come with me, Nathan said quietly, gesturing toward his private office. I think we need to have a longer conversation. Led Madison and Morgan through the bustling restaurant to his private office, a sanctuary of leather and mahogany that reflected his success. The twins sat on the edge of the oversized chairs, their feet barely touching the ground, but their posture remained dignified. Asterisk, now then, Nathan said, settling behind his desk. Tell me what's really going on. Asterisk, Madison opened her small notebook, revealing carefully written lists in childish handwriting. Our mama is Sarah Carter. She's been in Memorial Hospital for 8 days with pneumonia. Asterisk, Nathan's expression softened slightly. 8 days? Who's been taking care of you? Asterisk, we take care of each other, Morgan replied matter-of-factly. Mama taught us how to be responsible. We make our own breakfast, walk to school together, and do our homework every night. Asterisk, but the food ran out yesterday, Madison continued, her voice growing smaller. Mrs. Henderson next door gave us some crackers, but we can't keep asking her. She's old and doesn't have much either. Asterisk, Nathan studied the notebook Madison held. The pages contained a detailed budget written in crayon, listing their remaining resources, $3.47, half a loaf of bread and 2 cans of soup. Asterisk, your mother. Does she know you're here? Nathan asked gently. Asterisk, the twins shook their heads. Mama would be upset if she knew, Morgan admitted. Always says we should never bother important people. But we're not bothering you for charity, Mr. Blackwood. We want to earn our food. Nathan felt an unfamiliar tightness in his chest. In his world of corporate ruthlessness, he'd forgotten that such pure determination existed. These children weren't asking for handouts. They were offering their labor with the dignity their mother had instilled in them. Tell me about your mother, Nathan said, surprising himself with the gentleness in his voice. Madison's face lit up. Mama used to be a chef before we were born. She makes the most amazing pancakes and knows how to cook everything. She works at the diner on 5th Street, but they don't give health insurance. She reads to us every night and helps with our math homework, even when she's tired from working double shifts, Morgan added. She says education is the key to a better life. Nathan leaned back in his chair, processing their words. Here were two 8-year-olds displaying more maturity and work ethic than most of his adult employees. Mr. Blackwood, Madison asked hesitantly. Are you going to give us jobs? Nathan stood up, his decision crystallizing. No, I'm not going to give you jobs. The twins' faces fell, and he quickly continued. I'm going to do something much better. I'm going to take you to see your mother, and then we're going to figure out how to help your family properly. The relief and gratitude in their eyes was overwhelming. For the first time in years, Nathan Blackwood was about to make a decision based purely on compassion rather than profit. And he had no idea how completely it would change his life. Memorial Hospital's sterile corridors felt foreign to Nathan. As he walked alongside Madison and Morgan, the twins moved with practiced familiarity, navigating the maze of hallways with the confidence of children who had made this journey too many times. Room 314. Morgan announced, pointing to a door. At the end of the hall, Mama's in there. Nathan paused before entering, suddenly unsure of himself. In boardrooms, he commanded respect through authority and wealth. But facing a sick mother whose children had just asked a stranger for food felt entirely different. Madison pushed open the door, and Nathan's breath caught. Sarah Carter lay propped against white pillows, her chestnut hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. Despite the foreline in her arm and the pallor of illness, her face held an undeniable grace. When she saw her daughters, her eyes lit up with pure love. My sweet girls, Sarah said, her voice hoarse but warm. I missed you so much today, Mama. We brought someone to meet you, Madison announced, stepping aside to reveal Nathan. Sarah's expression immediately shifted to confusion and concern. Girls, who is this gentleman? Nathan stepped forward, feeling oddly nervous. Mrs. Carter, I'm Nathan Blackwood. Your daughters came to my restaurant today. Sarah's face went pale. Oh no, what did they do? I'm so sorry if they bothered you. Mr. Blackwood, Nathan repeated gently. They didn't bother me at all. In fact, they impressed me tremendously. Morgan climbed onto the bed beside her mother. Mama, we asked Mr. Blackwood for jobs. We wanted to help while you're sick. Sarah's eyes filled with tears of mortification. Girls, we talked about this. You can't just approach strangers, ... They approached me with more dignity and business sense than most adults I know, Nathan interrupted. Mrs. Carter, your daughters are remarkable. They've been taking care of themselves for over a week, maintaining their school attendance, and still had the courage to seek honest work rather than charity. Sarah studied Nathan's face, searching for judgment, but finding only genuine respect. They're good girls, but this isn't their responsibility. I'll be better soon, and we'll manage on our own. I have a proposition, Nathan said carefully. Allow me to care for Madison and Morgan while you recover. They can stay in the apartment above my restaurant, continue their schooling, and help with simple tasks if they insist on earning their keep. Sir, I can't accept such generosity from a stranger, Sarah protested weakly. Nathan pulled a chair beside her bed. Then don't think of me as a stranger. Think of me as someone who recognizes exceptional character when he sees it. Your daughters have reminded me of something I'd forgotten. What's that? Sarah asked softly. Asterisk, that real strength isn't measured in profit margins. It's measured in the courage to ask for help while maintaining your dignity. Asterisk, Sarah looked at her daughters, then back at Nathan. Something in his eyes told her this wasn't pity, but genuine respect for her family's resilience. Asterisk, just until I'm back on my feet, she said finally. Asterisk, Nathan smiled, feeling something shift in his chest. Of course, just until then. Asterisk, neither realized. This temporary arrangement would become the foundation of something permanent and beautiful. The apartment above Blackwood's restaurant had been Nathan's first home when he'd started the business 20 years ago. As he watched Madison and Morgan explore the cozy space, it felt alive again for the first time in decades. Asterisk, this bed is huge, Morgan exclaimed, bouncing on the queen-sized mattress that dominated the bedroom. Asterisk, and look. There's a whole kitchen, Madison added, running her fingers along the granite countertops. Mama would love this. Asterisk, Nathan found himself smiling genuinely, something that had become rare in recent years. The refrigerator is stocked, and Mrs. Rodriguez from the restaurant will check on you after school each day until I return from visiting your mother. Asterisk, the twins exchanged a look that Nathan was beginning to recognize. They were planning something. Asterisk, Mr. Blackwood, Madison began carefully. We still want to help at the restaurant. Mama always says idle hands make trouble. Asterisk, and we're really good at organizing things, Morgan added. We organized our whole apartment when Mama was working extra shifts. Asterisk, 3 days later, Nathan discovered the twins had indeed been helpful. Madison had reorganized the storage closet with military precision, while Morgan had created a color-coded system for table assignments that actually improved service efficiency. Asterisk, these children are extraordinary, Alina, his head chef told him during prep time. Madison noticed we were running low on olive oil before we did, and Morgan suggested we move the salt shakers closer to the pasta station. She was right, it's saving us steps. Asterisk, Nathan's daily visits to Sarah had become the highlight of his routine. Each afternoon he'd arrive with updates about the twins and stay longer than necessary. Drawn by Sarah's warmth and intelligence, Asterisk, Madison organized your spice cabinet today, Nathan reported during his 4th visit, according to frequency of use in alphabetical order within each category. Asterisk, Sarah laughed. The sound like music in the sterile hospital room. That sounds like her. She's been organizing since she could walk. Morgan's the creative one. She probably decorated something, didn't she? Asterisk, she made welcome signs for each table using the restaurant's crayons, Nathan admitted. The customers love them. Asterisk, you don't have to indulge their every whim, you know, Sarah said, though her eyes sparkled with pride. Asterisk, I'm not indulging them. They're genuinely contributing. Nathan pulled his chair closer to her bed. Sarah, can I ask you something personal? Asterisk, of course. Asterisk, how do you do it? Raise 2 remarkable children, work multiple jobs, and still maintain such grace under pressure. Asterisk, Sarah's cheeks flushed slightly. You do what you have to do for the people you love. The girls are my everything, Nathan. They make every sacrifice worthwhile. Asterisk, the way she said his name, soft and genuine, made something flutter in his chest. You're an extraordinary mother and an extraordinary woman. Asterisk, their eyes met, and for a moment the hospital room faded away. Nathan felt something he hadn't experienced in years, hope for a future that included more than just business success. Asterisk, the doctor says, I can go home tomorrow, Sarah said softly, breaking the spell. Asterisk, Nathan felt both joy for her recovery and an unexpected sadness. That's wonderful news. Asterisk, Nathan, Sarah said, reaching for his hand, thank you for everything. I've given us so much more than shelter. You've given us hope. Asterisk, as her fingers intertwined with his, Nathan realized that she had given him something equally precious, a reason to care about tomorrow. Marcus Wellington paced Nathan's office like a caged animal, his expensive suit wrinkled from a restless night. As Nathan's business partner for 15 years. Marcus had built his fortune alongside Blackwood's expansion, but lately, his friends' behavior had him deeply concerned. Asterisk, 3 weeks, Nathan, Marcus said, stopping in front of the desk. You've been playing house with this family for 3 weeks. The Henderson Group is still waiting for your decision on the Seattle expansion, and you've missed 2 investor meetings. Nathan looked up from reviewing the twins' school enrollment papers. The meetings were rescheduled, not canceled, and I've been handling business just fine. Have you? Marcus sat down heavily. Yesterday I found you teaching those children how to fold napkins instead of reviewing quarterly projections. The staff is starting to talk. About what exactly? Nathan's voice carried a warning edge. About how Nathan Blackwood, the man who once fired an entire management team for inefficiency, is now running a daycare center in his restaurant. Marcus leaned forward. Look, I understand you feel sorry for them, but charity has its place. This has gone too far. Nathan stood and walked to the window overlooking the dining room, where Madison was carefully arranging flowers in small vases, while Morgan drew pictures for the children's menu. Alina was developing asterisk. Maybe what's gone too far is my life before they arrived, Nathan said quietly. When was the last time I felt genuinely happy, Marcus? When was the last time work felt like more than just accumulating wealth? Happiness doesn't pay investors, Marcus replied sharply. You're losing your edge, Nathan. It's woman and her. Children are making you soft. Nathan turned, his eyes flashing. Soft. Those children have more courage and work ethic than most adults I know. And Sarah ... He paused, realizing he was about to reveal more than he intended. She's remarkable. Marcus's expression shifted to alarm. Oh, Nathan. Please tell me you're not falling for a woman who literally has nothing to offer you but problems. Problems. Nathan's voice dropped dangerously low. You mean like the problems of real human connection? Of caring about something beyond profit margins? I mean like the problems of gold diggers who see a lonely millionaire as their lottery ticket, Marcus shot back. You're being manipulated and you're too emotionally invested to see it. That evening, Nathan sat in Sarah's newly furnished apartment above the restaurant, watching her help the twins with homework, while a simple dinner simmered on the stove. The domestic scene felt more valuable than any business deal he'd ever closed. Mr. Nathan, Madison said, looking up from her math problems. Morgan and I were wondering. Do you have any family? The innocent question caught him off guard. No, Madison, it's just me. That must be lonely, Morgan observed, with 8-year-old honesty. Families are better when they're bigger. Sarah looked up from checking Madison's homework, catching Nathan's expression. Girls, finish your problems. I need to talk to Mr. Nathan about grown-up things. Once the twins were absorbed in their work, Sarah joined Nathan on the small balcony. You look troubled. Is everything all right, My business partner thinks I'm making a mistake, Nathan admitted. He believes you're taking advantage of my generosity. Sarah's face flushed. Maybe he's right. Maybe we should find our own place. I never wanted to be anyone's charity case. Sarah, no. Nathan gently touched her arm. You're not charity. He struggled to find words. You and the girls have given me something I didn't know I was missing. What's that? A reason to be a better man? Their eyes met in the evening light, and Sarah felt her heart skip. This wasn't gratitude anymore. It was something deeper and more dangerous. 2 months after Sarah's discharge, the rhythm of their shared life had become natural. Each morning, Nathan would join the Carter family for breakfast before the twins left for school. And each evening, they'd gather for dinner in the cozy apartment above the restaurant. Mama, tell Mr. Nathan about your dream restaurant. Madison prompted one evening as they finished Sarah's homemade lasagna. Sarah blushed, glancing at Nathan. It's just a silly dream. Nothing about you is silly, Nathan said softly, causing Sarah's cheeks to deepen their color. Tell me. I used to dream of opening a small bistro, Sarah admitted, her eyes distant. Nothing fancy, just a place where families could come for comfort food made with love. I had notebooks full of recipes and menu ideas before. She gestured vaguely at the twins. Before us, Morgan asked, suddenly worried. Asterisk, oh, sweetheart, no. Sarah pulled her daughter. Close. Having you girls is the best thing that ever happened to me. Dreams just change sometimes. Asterisk Nathan watched the interaction, his heart swelling. What if they didn't have to change? What if they just evolved? Asterisk later, after the twins were asleep, Nathan and Sarah sat on the balcony overlooking the quiet street. The Chicago skyline twinkled in the distance, but Nathan found himself studying Sarah's profile instead. Asterisk, you're staring, Sarah said softly, not meeting his eyes. Asterisk, I'm admiring, Nathan corrected. There's a difference. Asterisk Sarah turned to face him, her expression vulnerable. Nathan, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest. Asterisk always. Asterisk, why are you really doing this? Taking care of us, giving us a home, treating the girls. Like, ... double quotes. She paused, searching for words. Asterisk, like what? Asterisk, Nathan was quiet for a long moment. Because somewhere along the way, I started wishing they were. Asterisk. The admission hung between them, honest and raw. Sarah's breath caught asterisk Nathan ... asterisk I. No, it's complicated, he continued quickly. I know I'm older, that we come from different worlds. But Sarah, I haven't felt this alive in years. The girls have brought joy to my restaurant, and you've brought light to my life. Asterisk, meanwhile, 3 floors below, Marcus Wellington sat in his car, watching the intimate scene unfold on the balcony. His phone buzzed with a text from a private investigator he'd hired. Background check complete. No red flags, but financial situation more desperate than she's letting on. Multiple late. Notices medical debt exceeding $15,000. Asterisk Marcus smiled grimly. Perfect ammunition for when the time was right. Asterisk back on the balcony. Sarah struggled with her emotions. I care about you too, Nathan. More than I should. But I'm scared. Asterisk of what? Asterisk of what happens when you realize that love isn't enough to bridge the gap between who you are and who we are. When the novelty wears off and you remember that. I'm a single mother with debt and no prospects beyond serving coffee at a diner. Asterisk Nathan reached for her hand. Sarah, look at me. When she met his eyes, he continued. I've spent 20 years building a fortune, and I was miserable. 3 months with you and the girls, and I remember what happiness feels like. Asterisk Nathan, Sarah began, but was interrupted by Madison's voice from inside. Asterisk Mama. I had a bad dream. Can Mr. Nathan tuck me in too? Asterisk Sarah and Nathan exchanged a look that spoke volumes. Whatever was happening between them was no longer just about the 2 adults. It was about a family forming in the most unexpected way. Asterisk as they headed inside to comfort Madison. Neither noticed Marcus's car pulling away from the curb, its occupant. Already planning his next move? The next morning brought unexpected tension when Marcus arrived early at Blackwood's, his expression darker than Nathan had seen in years. He found Nathan in the kitchen, helping Madison and Morgan prepare small appetizer samples for the lunch service. Asterisk Nathan, we need to talk. Now. Marcus's voice carried an edge that made the twins look up nervously. Asterisk girls, why don't you go help Alina with the bread baskets? Nathan suggested gently, sensing the coming storm. Asterisk once they were alone, Marcus exploded. This has gone far enough. I just received calls from 3 major investors, expressing concerns about your new direction. Word is spreading that you're more interested in playing father than running a business. Asterisk Nathan remained calm, continuing to arrange the appetizer plates. What exactly have they heard? So asterisk, that you're planning to turn Blackwoods into some kind of community center? That you're considering hiring single mothers regardless of qualifications? That you're making decisions based on emotions rather than profit? Asterisk Nathan finally looked up, his eyes hard. And who exactly is spreading these rumors? Asterisk Marcus shifted uncomfortably. Does it matter? The point is, our reputation is at stake. I'm invoking my rights as a partner to call for a board review of recent management decisions. Asterisk, you're threatening me? Nathan's voice dropped dangerously low. Asterisk, I'm trying to save you from yourself. Marcus shot back. That woman has you completely under her spell. Can't you see she's using those children to manipulate you? The medical bills alone are probably astronomical. Asterisk Nathan stepped closer, his expression cold. Be very careful what you say next, Marcus. Asterisk the truth? That Sarah Carter saw a lonely millionaire and orchestrated this entire situation? Wake up, Nathan. Women like her don't fall for men like you without an agenda. Asterisk the sound of a plate shattering made both men turn. Sarah stood in the kitchen doorway, her face pale, having heard the entire conversation. Behind her, Madison and Morgan peered around the corner, their eyes wide with confusion and hurt. Asterisk, Sarah, ... Nathan started, but she held up a hand. Asterisk, no. He's right, Sarah said quietly, her voice steady, despite the tears in her eyes. This was a mistake. Girls, go pack your things. We're leaving. Asterisk, but Mama, Morgan protested, her voice breaking. Asterisk now, Morgan. Sarah's tone brooked no argument. Asterisk as Sarah shepherded the twins upstairs. Marcus smiled with satisfaction. Sometimes the truth hurts, but it's necessary. Asterisk Nathan turned on his partner with fury unlike anything Marcus had ever seen. Get out, asterisk Nathan. You'll thank me for this someday. ... Asterisk, get out, Nathan roared, his voice echoing through the empty restaurant. You're suspended from all operations effective immediately. Don't come back until you're ready to apologize for what you just did to that family. Asterisk Marcus straightened his tie, unperturbed. The board will hear about this, Nathan. Your judgment is clearly compromised. Asterisk alone in his kitchen, Nathan stared at the shattered plate and realized Marcus had succeeded in destroying something precious. But as he heard the twins crying upstairs, he knew he wouldn't let it end this way. Asterisk some battles were worth fighting, regardless of the cost. Nathan found Sarah in the apartment, methodically folding the twins' clothes into their old, worn suitcases. Madison and Morgan sat on the bed, tears streaming down their faces as they watched their brief stability crumble. Asterisk Sarah, please don't. Do this, Nathan said quietly from the doorway. Asterisk your partner made it very clear what people think of us. Sarah replied without looking up. Maybe it's better if we leave before this gets worse for you. Asterisk. I don't care what Marcus thinks. I care about you, about us. Asterisk Sarah finally met his eyes, her own red with unshed tears. Nathan, be honest. Deep down, don't you wonder if he's right? If maybe I saw your loneliness and ... double quotes, asterisk stop. Nathan knelt beside the bed, addressing all three of them. Madison, Morgan, look at me. Do you remember what you told me the first day we met? That your mama taught you honest work is better than begging? The twins nodded solemnly. Your mother is the most honest person I've ever known. She never asked me for anything except the chance to take care of her daughters. Everything I've given freely because you three have made my life better, not worse. But Mr. Marcus said Mama was using us, Madison whispered. Nathan's jaw tightened. Mr. Marcus is wrong, and I'm going to prove it. Asterisk over the next hour, Nathan made several calls. By evening, he had gathered Sarah, the twins, and his most trusted employees in the restaurant's private dining room. Lena Maria, the hostess, and James the sommelier sat around the table with serious expressions. Asterisk, I need to ask you all something important. Nathan began. In the 3 months since Sarah and the girls have been here, have you noticed any changes in the restaurant? In me, asterisk Elena spoke first. The atmosphere is completely different, Nathan. Warmer. The regular customers have commented on it. Your new menu items, inspired by Sarah's suggestions, have increased sales by 15%. Asterisk, the staff morale is higher too, Maria added. Girls bring such joy. Even Mr. Peterson, who complains about everything, smiles when Madison organizes his table settings. Asterisk James nodded. You're more approachable now, Nathan. Before we were all afraid to suggest anything. Now you actually listen to ideas like Morgan's suggestion for the kids' corner that has increased family dining by 20%. Asterisk Sarah listened in amazement as each employee detailed specific improvements that had occurred since her family's arrival. Asterisk, but Marcus said investors were concerned. Sarah said quietly, Asterisk Nathan smiled grimly. I made some calls this afternoon. Marcus, lead. Not only are our investors happy with the increased profits, but 2 new investors have approached us based on our innovative family-friendly model. Asterisk, then why would he? ... Sarah began. Asterisk, because Marcus Wellington has never liked change, and he's never liked sharing control. Nathan's expression hardened. But what I discovered today goes deeper than that. Asterisk, Nathan pulled out a folder of documents. While you were packing, I had my accountant review all partnership agreements and recent transactions. Marcus has been skimming profits for months, hiding money in accounts I didn't know existed. Asterisk, the room fell silent as the implications sank. In an asterisk, he's been stealing, Madison asked, with 8-year-old directness. Asterisk, yes, sweetheart. And he tried to drive your family away because he was afraid I'd discover it during the closer financial reviews I've been doing since we started expanding our programs. Asterisk, Sarah stared at the documents, then at Nathan. You investigated your own partner to clear my name? Asterisk, I investigated a man who tried to destroy the best thing that's ever happened to me, Nathan replied firmly. Now, Marcus Wellington is going to learn what happens when someone threatens my family. Asterisk, the word family hung in the air, and for the first time that day, Madison and Morgan smiled. Asterisk, does this mean we can stay? Morgan asked hopefully. Asterisk, Nathan looked at Sarah, his heart in his eyes. That's up to your mother. Asterisk, Sarah wiped away her tears and reached for Nathan's hand. We're not going anywhere. 3 weeks after the confrontation with Marcus, life at Blackwoods had settled into a new normal. Nathan had officially terminated Marcus's partnership, buying out his shares and assuming full control of the restaurant. The legal process was messy, but Nathan's evidence of financial misconduct made the outcome inevitable. Asterisk, on a quiet Sunday evening, Nathan prepared a special dinner in the apartment kitchen while the twins worked on a puzzle nearby. Sarah watched from the doorway, marveling at how natural he looked, stirring sauce and checking the oven. Asterisk, you know, she said softly. 6 months ago. If someone told me I'd be watching a millionaire cook dinner in my kitchen, I'd have laughed. Asterisk, Nathan looked up, his eyes warm. 6 months ago, if someone told me I'd be happier cooking for a family than closing million-dollar deals, I'd have had them committed. Asterisk, are you happy, I mean? Sarah asked, moving closer. Asterisk, happier than I ever thought possible. Nathan set down his spoon and turned to face her fully. Shh. We need to talk about something important. Asterisk, before she could respond, Madison appeared between them. Are you guys having another one of your serious talks? Your faces get all mushy when you look at each other. Asterisk, Nathan laughed, ruffling Madison's hair. Yes, we're having a serious talk. Why don't you and Morgan finish that puzzle in your room? Asterisk, but we can hear everything from there anyway, Morgan pointed out with typical 8-year-old logic. Asterisk, then you can hear me tell your mother how much I love her, Nathan said simply. Asterisk, the twins gasped with delight while Sarah's breath caught. Nathan had never said those words before, though they'd been hovering between them for weeks. Asterisk, you love us? Madison asked, bouncing on her toes. Asterisk, all 3 of you, Nathan confirmed, his eyes never leaving Sarah's face. Oh, I love your mothers. Strength and kindness. I love Morgan's creativity and Madison's organization skills. I love how you've all made me remember what family feels like. Asterisk, Sarah felt tears prick her eyes. Nathan, ... Asterisk. I know it's complicated, he continued quickly. I know we've only known each other a few months, but Sarah, I want to spend the rest of my life making you and the girls happy. I want to officially adopt Madison and Morgan. I want to marry you. Asterisk, the twins erupted in excited squeals, but Sarah stood frozen. Overwhelmed by the magnitude of his declaration, Asterisk, you want to marry? Mama, Morgan asked, climbing onto Nathan's lap. Asterisk, only if she'll have me, Nathan replied, his voice uncertain for the first time. Asterisk, Sarah looked at this man who had rescued them, protected them, and loved them without expecting anything in return. Social differences that had once seemed insurmountable now felt trivial compared to the depth of feeling in his eyes. Asterisk, yes. She whispered, then louder, yes, Nathan, I love you too. Asterisk, the celebration was interrupted by Nathan's phone ringing. Marcus's name appeared on the screen, and Nathan's expression immediately darkened. Asterisk, don't answer it, Sarah said quickly. Asterisk, but Nathan was already sliding the screen. What do you want, Marcus? Asterisk, Marcus's voice was cold and threatening. Enjoy your little family while you can, Nathan. I've been documenting everything. The preferential treatment, the questionable use of company resources for personal gain. When I'm done, you'll lose more than just a business partner. The line went dead, leaving the apartment in tense silence. What did he mean? Sarah asked, though she was afraid of the answer. Asterisk, Nathan pulled her and the twins close. It means Marcus isn't done fighting, but neither am I. The attack came swiftly and devastatingly. Within 48 hours of Nathan's marriage proposal, Chicago's food media erupted with a scandal that sent shockwaves through the industry. Asterisk, Blackwoods exploits child labor, screamed the headline in the Chicago Tribune. The article featured photos of Madison and Morgan helping in the kitchen, taken with a telephoto lens and presented without context. Anonymous sources claimed Nathan was using vulnerable children as unpaid workers while carrying on an inappropriate relationship with their desperate mother. Asterisk, Nathan's phone rang incessantly as the story spread to national outlets. Health inspectors arrived unannounced. Reporters camped outside the restaurant, and protesters gathered with signs demanding justice for exploited children. Asterisk, how did this happen? Sarah asked, pacing the apartment while the twins huddled together. On the couch, confused and frightened by the chaos below, Asterisk, Nathan stared at his laptop screen, watching their private life being dissected by strangers. Marcus, this has his fingerprints all over it. Asterisk, but how could he have gotten those photos? We've been so careful about keeping the girls away from reporters. Asterisk, Nathan's expression darkened as realization struck. The photos are from inside the restaurant. Someone with access took them. Asterisk, that afternoon, while Sarah stayed with the twins, Nathan began his own investigation. Started with security footage, reviewing weeks of recordings. What he found made his blood run cold. Asterisk, Marcus had been visiting the restaurant at night, using his old key code that Nathan had forgotten to deactivate. The footage showed him photographing documents, copying files, and even meeting with unknown individuals in Nathan's own office. Asterisk, but the devastating revelation came when Nathan's accountant, Jennifer, arrived with boxes of financial records. Asterisk, Nathan, I found something, Jennifer said grimly. The discrepancies I mentioned last month weren't just recent. They go back years. Asterisk, Nathan studied the spreadsheets she laid out. What exactly are you showing me? Asterisk, Marcus has been systematically embezzling funds since 2018, but it's worse than that. He's been manipulating supplier contracts, inflating costs, and redirecting payments to shell companies he controls. Asterisk, Nathan felt sick as the scope of betrayal became clear. How much? Asterisk, nearly $2 million over 5 years. But Nathan, that's not the worst part. Jennifer's voice dropped. He's been positioning himself to take over the entire business. The suppliers he's been working with? They're all connected to a restaurant group he's been secretly assembling. He's been sabotaging Blackwoods while building his own empire. Asterisk, Nathan sank into his chair as the full picture emerged. Every business challenge, every unexpected crisis, every supplier issue, Marcus had orchestrated it all while pretending to be a loyal partner. Asterisk. The media attacks on your family aren't just about discrediting you personally, Jennifer continued. If he can prove you're unfit to run the business, the partnership agreements give him grounds to force a sale or assume control. Asterisk, that evening, Nathan sat with Sarah and the twins, the weight of betrayal heavy on his shoulders. I trusted him. For 15 years, he said quietly. He was at my table for holidays. I considered him family. Asterisk, Madison, with 8-year-old wisdom, climbed onto his lap. Mr. Nathan, sometimes people pretend to be good when they're really bad inside, but that doesn't mean all people are bad. Asterisk, she's right, Sarah said firmly. Marcus chose to be cruel. You chose to be kind. The difference matters. Nathan looked at his new family, Sarah's determined face, Madison's comforting presence, Morgan's fierce loyalty, and felt his resolve strengthen. He wanted a war, Nathan said quietly. Now he's going to get one. Nathan's home office had been transformed into a war room. Documents covered every surface. Laptops displayed financial charts, and a timeline of Marcus's deceptions stretched across one wall. Sarah sat across from Nathan, her organizational skills proving invaluable as they built their case. Look at this pattern, Sarah said, pointing to a spreadsheet. Every time you implemented a new employee benefit or community program, Marcus found a way to increase operating costs elsewhere. He wasn't just stealing money, he was making your generosity look financially irresponsible. Nathan nodded grimly. He played the long game perfectly, positioned himself as the responsible partner while I appeared increasingly reckless with company funds. Jennifer, their accountant, entered with fresh coffee and more evidence. I've traced the shell companies. Marcus created an entire network of fake vendors. Blackwoods has been paying inflated prices for everything from linens to produce, with the excess going directly to accounts Marcus controls. Can we prove it legally? Nathan asked. Absolutely. The paper trail is extensive once you know what to look for. But Nathan, there's something else. Jennifer's expression grew troubled. I found evidence that Marcus has been in talks with several major restaurant chains about acquiring Blackwoods. He's been providing them with insider information about your finances, operations, even your personal life. Sarah felt a chill. He's been planning to sell the restaurant. Not sell, Nathan corrected, understanding dawning. Destroy its value, force me out, then rebuild it as part of his own empire. The media campaign isn't just about discrediting me. It's about devaluing the business so his buyers can acquire it cheaply. That evening, as the twins slept, Nathan and Sarah continued strategizing on the apartment balcony. The protesters had finally dispersed, but damage to the restaurant's reputation lingered. We need to go public with everything, Sarah said firmly. Complete transparency about Marcus's crimes, the financial records, the whole conspiracy. Let people see the truth. Nathan hesitated. That could backfire. Might look like I'm deflecting blame onto a former partner. Or it might show that. You're willing to expose corruption even when it costs you, personally, Sarah countered. Nathan, you've spent months showing this community that businesses can prioritize people over profits. This is your chance to prove that integrity matters more than reputation. Nathan studied her face in the moonlight. You're willing to risk everything? The media attention could get worse before it gets better. Sarah took his hand. I've spent 8 years protecting my daughters from a world that didn't value us. You showed us that some people are worth fighting for. Now it's our turn to fight for you. The next morning. Nathan made a decision that would shock Chicago's business community. He called a press conference for that afternoon not to defend himself, but to expose the full extent of Marcus Wellington's crimes. We're going to tell the whole truth, he announced to his assembled staff. About the embezzlement, the sabotage, the conspiracy to destroy this restaurant. Some of you might get pulled into depositions and legal proceedings. Anyone who wants to find other employment, I understand. Galena, his head chef, spoke for the group. We're with you, Nathan. This restaurant is our family too. As Nathan prepared for the press conference that would either vindicate him or destroy him completely. Madison and Morgan appeared at his side. We made you something, Madison announced, handing him a hand-drawn card that read Best Dad Ever in crayon, for courage. Morgan added seriously, looking at their innocent faces. Nathan knew he was fighting for more than just a business. He was fighting for the future of his family. The hour before the press conference felt surreal. Nathan stood in his office, adjusting his tie for the third time, while Sarah watched from the doorway. Outside, reporters and cameras assembled in the restaurant's main dining room, preparing to broadcast what could be either his vindication or his destruction. Asterisk, you don't have to do this, Sarah said softly. We could disappear. Start over somewhere else. Asterisk, Nathan turned to face her, his expression resolute. I've spent my entire adult life building something I was proud of. I won't let Marcus destroy it with lies. Asterisk, even if fighting back costs you everything. Asterisk, Nathan walked to her, taking her hands in his. Sarah, 6 months ago, I thought everything meant this restaurant, my reputation, my wealth. Now I know better. Everything is you and the girls. Everything else is just ... stuff. Asterisk, Sarah's eyes filled with tears. What if we lose? Asterisk, then we lose together, as a family. Asterisk, Madison and Morgan burst through the office door, having escaped their babysitter's supervision. They wore matching dresses Sarah had bought for special occasions, their hair carefully braided. Asterisk, we want to go with you, Madison announced with characteristic determination. Asterisk, girls, this isn't appropriate for children. Nathan began. Asterisk, yes it is, Morgan interrupted. They're saying mean things about our family. We should be there to show everyone we're not ashamed. Asterisk, Nathan knelt to their level, overwhelmed by their courage. You know what's happening might be scary? People will ask difficult questions and say things that hurt. Asterisk, we're not scared, Madison replied firmly. You taught us that truth is stronger than lies. Asterisk, Sarah wiped away tears, pride and terror warring in her chest. Nathan, maybe they're right. Maybe our family should face this together. Asterisk, Nathan looked at his chosen family, Sarah's unwavering strength, Madison's fierce loyalty, Morgan's innocent wisdom, and felt his resolve crystallize. This wasn't just about clearing his name. It was about protecting their future. Asterisk, all right, he said, standing and straightening his shoulders. We face this together. Asterisk, 20 minutes later, Nathan walked into the packed dining room with Sarah. Beside him, and the twins holding their hands, the crowd of reporters fell silent. Many surprised by the family's united front. Asterisk, Nathan approached the podium, the evidence boxes stacked beside him containing 5 years of Marcus Wellington's crimes. Camera flashes exploded as he pulled out the first document. Asterisk, ladies and gentlemen. Nathan began, his voice steady and clear. Today I'm going to tell you the truth about Marcus Wellington, about Blackwood's restaurant, and about the systematic fraud that has been perpetrated against this business and this community. Asterisk, he held up a bank statement showing diverted funds. For 5 years, my former partner has been stealing from this restaurant while manipulating our operations to cover his tracks. Asterisk, in the back of the room, Marcus Wellington stood with his own lawyer, his face a mask of barely controlled fury. He had expected Nathan to grovel, to offer weak denials. Instead, Nathan was going on the offensive with ammunition Marcus hadn't known existed. Asterisk. The photos of Madison and Morgan helping in our kitchen were taken illegally by a man who had been secretly accessing our premises at night, Nathan continued, producing security footage timestamps. These children aren't employees. They're my daughters in every way that matters. Sarah squeezed his hand as he spoke the words publicly for the first time. The battle for Nathan's life, reputation, and family had officially begun. The press conference transformed into a courtroom as Nathan methodically presented evidence of Marcus Wellington's crimes. Each document, each bank record, each falsified contract painted a picture of betrayal so complete that even the most skeptical reporters began taking notes furiously. Asterisk, this spreadsheet shows how Mr. Wellington inflated supplier costs by an average of 30%. Nathan continued, projecting the evidence onto a large screen. The excess payments were redirected to shell companies he controlled, totaling nearly $2 million over 5 years. Asterisk, Marcus could no longer remain silent. He pushed through the crowd, his face red with rage. This is preposterous. Nathan. Blackwood is a desperate man trying to deflect attention from his own misconduct. Asterisk, then explain this, Nathan replied calmly, holding up a contract. Your signature authorizing payment to Chicago Food Solutions, a company that exists only on paper, registered to an address that turns out to be a mailbox you rented under a false name. Asterisk, the room buzzed with murmurs as photographers captured Marcus's increasingly frantic denials. Asterisk, you have no proof I personally benefited from any supposed irregularities. Da, sputtered. Asterisk Nathan smiled grimly and nodded to Jennifer, who wheeled forward another box of documents. Actually, Marcus, we have complete financial records showing the money trail from Blackwood's accounts to your personal offshore investments. Asterisk Jennifer stepped to the microphone. As Mr. Blackwood's accountant, I can confirm that we've traced every fraudulent transaction. The FBI's Financial Crimes Unit received our complete findings this morning. Asterisk, the color drained from Marcus's face. The FBI? Asterisk, they're very interested in your real estate purchases in the Cayman Islands, Nathan continued. Particularly how you afforded them on a partner's salary while claiming the business was struggling. Asterisk, Sarah watched the proceedings with amazement. Nathan's calm professionalism contrasted sharply with Marcus's growing desperation. The twins sat quietly beside her, absorbing everything with wide eyes. Asterisk, furthermore, Nathan said, producing a recording device. We have audio evidence of Mr. Wellington attempting to coerce suppliers into providing false testimony about Blackwood's operations. Asterisk, as Nathan played the damning recording of Marcus threatening a longtime vendor, several reporters began typing urgently on their phones. The story was shifting in real time from restaurant owner exploits children to massive corporate fraud exposed. Asterisk, Marcus made one final desperate play. Even if financial irregularities occurred, Nathan Blackwood remains unfit to run a business that serves families. He's romantically involved with an employee he rescued from poverty. It's a clear abuse of power. Asterisk, Nathan's expression hardened. Sarah Carter is not my employee. She's the woman I love and the mother of my children. The only abuse of power here was yours, manipulating my trust while systematically destroying everything I built. Asterisk, the room fell silent as Nathan's voice rose with controlled fury. You tried to drive away my family because you knew Sarah's intelligence and organizational skills would eventually uncover your crimes. You failed, Marcus, just like you failed to destroy my restaurant, my reputation, and my life. Asterisk, at that moment, FBI agents entered the dining room, their presence confirming the seriousness of the charges. Agent Rodriguez approached the podium. Asterisk, Mr. Wellington, you're under arrest for embezzlement, wire fraud, and conspiracy to commit financial crimes. Asterisk, as handcuffs clicked onto Marcus's wrists, the assembled media erupted into chaos. Camera flashes captured his humiliation, while reporters shouted questions about the investigation. Asterisk, Nathan turned to his family, pulling Sarah and the twins close as Marcus was led away. It's over, he whispered. Asterisk, Madison looked up at him with 8-year-old solemnity. Does this mean the bad man can't hurt us anymore? Asterisk, never again, sweetheart. Never again. Asterisk, the battle was won, but Nathan knew the real victory was simpler than business success or public vindication. He had found his family, protected them, and proven that love truly could triumph over greed. 3 weeks after Marcus Wellington's arrest, Blackwood's restaurant buzzed with a different energy. The media storm had passed. Leaving behind an unexpected silver lining, reservations were booked solid for months as Chicago rallied around Nathan's story of courage and integrity. Asterisk, Nathan stood in his office reviewing adoption papers his lawyer had prepared. The legal process to make Madison and Morgan officially his daughters was nearly complete, requiring only Sarah's signature in a family court hearing. Asterisk, knock, knock, Sarah said from the doorway, carrying 2 cups of coffee. The girls are helping. Alina prepped vegetables for tonight's special. Asterisk, Nathan smiled, accepting the coffee gratefully. Supervised vegetable prep, I hope. After everything we've been through, I don't need a health inspector finding issues with our prep procedures. Asterisk, Alina has them washing lettuce and arranging garnishes. Nothing that involves sharp objects, Sarah assured him, settling into the chair across from his desk. Nathan, we need to talk about something. Asterisk, his expression grew concerned.
What is?
Sarah pulled out a letter from her purse. I got this yesterday. It's a job offer from the Marriott downtown. It's executive chef position for their new restaurant. The salary is substantial.
Asterisk. Nathan felt his heart skip, but kept his voice
Steady? That's wonderful, Sarah. You deserve recognition for your talents. Asterisk. I'm not taking it, Sarah said firmly. But I needed you to know that I have options. That staying here, building a life with you, isn't about desperation or gratitude anymore. Asterisk. Nathan leaned forward, understanding dawning. You're choosing? Us. Asterisk. I'm choosing love, Sarah corrected softly. I'm choosing the man who saw potential in my daughters when the world saw only burden. I'm choosing the partner who fights for his family no matter the cost. Asterisk. Nathan stood and walked around the desk, kneeling beside her chair. Sarah Carter, will you marry me? Officially this time, with rings and witnesses and a celebration worthy of what we've overcome. Asterisk. Sarah's eyes filled with happy tears. Yes, Nathan Blackwood. 1,000 times, yes. Asterisk. Their kiss was interrupted by Madison's voice from the doorway. Are you guys getting mushy again? Lena sent us to tell you the reporters are back. This time they brought flowers and want to interview you about family restaurants. Asterisk. Nathan and Sarah laughed, breaking apart to see both twins watching with knowing smiles. Asterisk. Actually, Nathan said, we have something to tell you girls, something very important. Asterisk. Morgan and Madison exchanged a look. You're getting married? Morgan announced. We knew it would happen eventually. Asterisk. How did you know? Sarah asked, amazed by their perception. Asterisk. Because you look at each other the way people in movies look at each other, Madison explained with 8-year-old logic. Actually, Mr. Nathan already acts like our dad anyway. Asterisk. Nathan's throat tightened. With emotion, speaking of that, how would you feel about me officially becoming your dad? There are papers we can sign that would make us a legal family. Asterisk. The twins erupted in excitement, launching themselves at Nathan with such force that all three tumbled to the floor in a heap of laughter and tears. Asterisk. Does this mean we'll have the same last name? Madison asked from her position sprawled across Nathan's chest. Asterisk. Carter Blackwood, Nathan confirmed. We'll all be Carter Blackwoods. Asterisk. That evening, Nathan found himself on the restaurant's balcony, watching the sunset paint Chicago's skyline in shades of gold and pink. The view that had once been his solitary refuge now felt incomplete, without his family's laughter filling the space. Asterisk. Sarah joined him, slipping her hand into his. Penny for your thoughts? Asterisk. I was thinking about Marcus, Nathan admitted. Anger and greed can consume someone so completely that they lose sight of what actually matters. Asterisk. Do you feel sorry for him? Asterisk. Nathan considered this. I feel sorry for who he could have been. If he'd chosen differently, he could have been part of something beautiful instead of trying to destroy it. Asterisk. Sarah squeezed his hand. His choices led us to this moment. In a strange way, I'm grateful. Asterisk. How so? Asterisk. Because fighting for our family, proving our love was real, it made everything stronger. We know now that what we have can survive anything. Asterisk. Nathan pulled her close, breathing in the scent of her hair and the promise of their future. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new opportunities, and new adventures. But tonight, with his family safe and his heart full, Nathan Blackwood finally understood the difference between success and happiness. Asterisk. He had both. 1 year later, the gardens behind Blackwood's restaurant sparkled with fairy lights and the laughter of 200 guests. Nathan adjusted his bow tie nervously as James, his best man and head chef, checked his watch. Asterisk. 5 minutes, Nathan. You ready for this? Asterisk. Nathan looked out at the assembled crowd, employees, customers who had become friends, and the community leaders who had rallied around their story. I've been ready since the day 2 little girls walked into my restaurant asking for jobs. Asterisk. The string quartet began playing as the ceremony commenced. Morgan appeared first, scattering rose petals with dramatic flair, followed by Madison carrying the rings with solemn responsibility. Both girls wore matching lavender dresses and smiles that could power the city. Asterisk. Then Sarah appeared, and Nathan's breath caught. She wore his grandmother's vintage dress, altered to perfection, with Caroline's compass bracelet on her wrist, a symbol of finding her own direction that had led her straight to him. Asterisk, dearly beloved. The officiant began. We gathered today to celebrate not just the union of Nathan and Sarah, but the formation of a family built on courage, love, and the belief that the most beautiful things in life often come from the most unexpected moments. Asterisk, during the vows, Nathan's voice broke as he promised to love Sarah and the girls through every adventure, every challenge, and every ordinary Tuesday that makes life extraordinary. Asterisk, Sarah's vows brought tears to every eye. Nathan, you didn't just rescue us from hunger. You showed us that we were worthy of love, of dreams, of a future we never dared imagine. Today I promise not just to be your wife, but your partner in changing the world, one family at a time. Asterisk, the kiss that sealed their marriage was interrupted by Madison's voice. Now you're really our dad forever and ever. Asterisk, the reception celebration was magnificent, but the evening's most important moment came during Nathan's speech. He stood with Sarah beside him, Madison and Morgan at their feet. Addressing the crowd that had become their extended family, asterisk, a year ago, I thought success meant profit margins and expansion plans. I was wrong. Success is Madison organizing our charity supply closet with military precision. Success is Morgan designing artwork that makes our customers smile. Success is Sarah's vision turning this restaurant into something that nourishes souls, not just bodies. Asterisk, he paused, looking at his family. But tonight, I want to announce something that represents our greatest success. Sarah and I are launching the Carter Blackwood Foundation, dedicated to supporting vulnerable families through job training, emergency assistance, and most importantly, the belief that every child deserves a chance to dream. Asterisk. The crowd erupted in applause as Nathan continued. Our first initiative will be partnering with local restaurants to create family-friendly workplaces where parents can thrive professionally while still being present for their children. Because we've learned that the strongest businesses are built on the foundation of strong families. Asterisk, Alina stepped forward with a large check made out to the foundation. The entire restaurant staff had pooled their tips for a month as a wedding gift. This is just the beginning, she announced. The Blackwood family showed us that taking care of each other isn't just good for business, it's good for the soul. Asterisk, as the evening wound down, Nathan found himself on the same balcony where he'd first realized he was falling in love with Sarah. Now, as his wife and daughters slept upstairs in what had become their permanent home above the restaurant, he marveled at the journey that had brought them here. Asterisk, Marcus Wellington was serving a 5-year sentence for embezzlement, but Nathan rarely thought about him anymore. The restaurant empire Marcus had tried to steal was now thriving under a new philosophy that success meant lifting others up, not climbing over them. Asterisk, the next morning, Nathan woke to find Madison and Morgan already dressed and in the kitchen, preparing breakfast for their first day as an officially married family. Asterisk, Dad. Madison said. The title still made Nathan's heart skip. Mom says we're going to help other kids like us now. Asterisk, that's right, sweetheart. Asterisk, good, Morgan declared, with 18-year-old certainty. Every kid should have a family like ours. As Nathan watched his daughters work alongside their mother, he realized they were right. Every child deserved to feel safe, loved, and valued. Every parent deserves support, not judgment. Every family deserved a chance to thrive. Asterisk, the Carter Blackwood Foundation would ensure that the courage of 2 little girls asking for jobs would echo through thousands of lives, proving that sometimes the smallest acts of bravery create the biggest changes in the world. Asterisk, sometimes love really does conquer all, especially when it comes dressed as 2 determined 8-year-olds who refuse to give up on tomorrow.